yeah, around this topic of chapter 1 and of the Holy Scriptures, what book recommendations do you have for people who are coming if they want to prep or follow up? Like, what are your top couple of books that you use when you teach through this?
Yeah, well, I think that Dr. Renahan's exposition of the Second London Confession of Faith would be helpful. Chapter 1, obviously, of the Holy Scriptures. So there he'll speak or writes concerning the historical context and does expound the actual confession itself. I also like A.A. Hodge, his exposition of the Westminster Confession of Faith. Again, very similar in chapter 1 with reference to the confessions. So I think A.A. Hodge is very good in chapter 1. Robert Shaw, another Presbyterian that has a commentary on the Westminster Confession. And then Chad Van Dixhorn has a simpler, more accessible exposition of the Westminster Confession called Confessing the Faith. And we didn't actually steal the title from the conference or for the conference from that book. It just was a happy accident. But those are some good things written on that, on chapter 1. And then in terms of books on Scripture, there's a lot of them. There's many of them, and that's not preacher talk for I don't want to answer the question, but there's general overviews, and then there's specific treatments on specific doctrine. So when you consider Scripture, you consider divine inspiration, you consider infallibility, you consider inerrancy. So there's a myriad of works on each of those subjects.
If I could add to that, if anybody is particularly eager, one book that I found very helpful that was written in the 1500s by a man named William Whitaker. It's called The Disputation on Holy Scripture Against the Papists, and it's just a helpful book that looks at what the Reformed thought as far as what they viewed, how they viewed Scripture, but also even some helpful interpretive principles as well that he gives. And so I'm sure the first 275 pages, the people can gloss over that part of it, but starting around authority of Scripture could be pretty beneficial for the people. And I found it pretty accessible, even though it was written in the 1500s, and it's free online as well. So A Disputation on Holy Scripture by William Whitaker.
Good.
Yeah, and we'll link these in the video notes and get on the resources section on the website as well. So
great.
Yeah.